Welcome back, fellow Goosebumpers. It is I, Zach Baby, the Zachalicious, also the Zacanitis. Here today to give you something a little different. Instead of giving you a top 10 favorite Goosebump books, usually from the original series, because, to be honest, I haven't read too much outside of the original series. What I'm going to do is give you the top 10 worst Goosebump books. So let's get started. Now I'm going to start my countdown from number 1, which will begin with Ghost Beach. Like I mentioned previously, I thought this just wasn't a good story. The TV show was horrible. I just didn't like it at all. You know, when you look at the cover, it looks awesome. But I really thought that Ghost Beach really sucked. So, go ahead and push that in here. Number 2, of course, would probably have to be Piano Lessons Can Be Murder. Just wasn't my thing. I don't really care too much for pianos. I just had no interest. Now, the TV show was okay, but I just really didn't care for it, personally. I just didn't think it was a really great story. Maybe, you know, individuals that like the piano, that play the piano, maybe some girls, they might have liked it, but not me, personally. Third would have to be Vampire Breath. I didn't think this was good at all. Now, I like vampires. I'm a big fan of Underworld and, you know, vampires and lichens and all that stuff. You know, The Strain, great TV show that's on FX and also on Hulu right now and on Netflix. But this was really stupid. I didn't like this at all. Again, the TV show is kind of crummy. This would definitely have to be the third worst, in my opinion. Fourth, Chicken. Honestly, it's stupid. I don't know if R.L. Stine personally wrote every single book. You know, there's rumors that he had a lot of shadow writers because, you know, how quickly he came out with just so much. You know, I'm sure he probably did write them all because I did watch an interview where he said he was writing a book every 2 weeks, which is, you know, very believable. You know, the man has a great mind and types extremely fast. But, yeah, Chicken was just really stupid to me. Didn't care for it at all. The cover was stupid. I mean, growing up, I never even bought the book. You know, I have it now because I'm collecting everything. But aside from that, I would never waste any money on this book. And fourth would have to be number 17. Why I'm Afraid of Bees. I'm not afraid of bees. I've been stung by a bee twice, and it was not pleasant. But the cover never grabbed me. It just wasn't an appealing book. I didn't think it was greatly written. It's just one of those books that's like, okay, it's part of the series, but other than that, it's not something that, you know, you would remember, like Welcome to Camp Nightmare, The Masked Mutant, you know, Haunted Mask, Horror at Camp Jelly Jam, Revenge of the Lawn Gnome, Shocker on Shock Street. I mean, there's some mega books in the original series, and there's some fillers that were okay, and then you have a lot of them that are just duds. So let's go on to number 5, The Abominable Snowman of Pasadena. Now, I know they just made this guy the main character of the Goosebumps movie, which I thought was a mistake. I mean, have you been to Pasadena? It doesn't even snow in Pasadena. That's North LA County, and it's hot. Abominable Snowman's never really grabbed me anyways, you know, just from folk tales and stuff like that. The whole Pasadena thing, I just didn't like it. The cover didn't grab me, and I just didn't think it was the greatest book. Not the worst, you know, like I said, but definitely had to be in the top 10 worst books from the original series. Number 6 would have to be The Curse of the Mummy's Tomb. Not the worst of the bunch, but just peeking through the last half of the top 10. The TV episode didn't do it any justice. It's okay, but considering out of 62 books, this was, in my opinion, the last 10 out of the good ones, in my opinion. Following that with number 6 would have to be Return of the Mummy. Again, didn't grab me. TV show didn't give it any justice. I love Egyptian stuff, but it just didn't get me. You know, certain books grab you and you will remember them, and you'll remember the characters, the storyline. You'll be like, oh, you know, they probably should have did something different with this part of the book, and I love how they did other things with the book, as far as the story, plot, direction, action, thrilling, suspense. I didn't like either one of the stories, to be honest. But that's just my opinion. I'm going to do 8, 9, and 10 because they're all together and they're all the same. You have Monster Blood 3, Monster Blood 1, and Monster Blood 2. Now you have 8, 9, and 10. The order would have to be that number 8 would have to be Monster Blood 3. Number 9 would have to be Monster Blood 1. Monster Blood 2 would be number 10. I didn't like any of the Monster Bloods. In fact, I think they should have wrote something completely different to begin with. I didn't like anything about it. I watched the Fox Kids TV episodes of them, and they did more justice than the book did to me. Even though part 2, you know, they made the whole thing on an airplane and everything, so I thought that was alright. Part 1 was okay. The grandma was definitely freaky. But overall, 8, 9, and 10 had to be the Monster Bloods for the top 10 worst. Now, there are others if I was to continue with it. You know, if I went to 11 and 12, you know, if I could do the whole thing backwards to the very best. But of course, that would take a long time to upload. And hey, but there are a few of these that I have not read, so I cannot really judge them and rate them. Like, I have not read Legend of the Lost Legend. I haven't read that. I haven't read Beware of the Snowman and How I Learned to Fly. I haven't read those, so I couldn't really throw those in here, so I don't know if they're great books or not. But just based off the ones that I remember reading and with the TV episodes, I just had to do something outside of the box instead of, you know, praising the best 10, which I've already done. I decided to flip it on you and do the top 10 worst ones. Anyways, we will see you again.